Right, welcome back to MidwestMoto. I was up here bad start to the video. I was up here the other day. I should have practiced enunciating before I pressed record. I saw this Highland Green 2023 BSA Goldstar 650, and I just thought that's a great opportunity to compare my bike, which is the same, with all my modifications, to the bone stock bike. So this bike is currently for sale at Midwest at £4,199. It's got 425 miles on the clock. So not only is it immaculate, it's got that unused feeling to it, it's also low mileage and yeah, pretty cheap for what you're getting. Now I'm gonna do a little bit of a side-by-side sort of spot the difference kind of game today, just a bit of a fun video. So first things first, one of the most obvious things on my bike is these Bridgestone AX41 Adventure Cross tyres. People sometimes ask, what tyres are you running? They do bite like hell into sand, rocks, even mud. These things will just churn through it. Combine that with the torquey 650 motor, and first and second they've got quite long ratio, so it kind of works off-road, apart from the ground clearance, of course. Over here you got the stock tyres, which are Pirelli Sport Comp, Phantom Sport Comp. They're okay, they're not my favourite tyre, but they do the job. On my bike, I'm also running an LED front headlight. This bike's got the standard glass halogen light, which admittedly looks a little bit more retro. I just like the fact that you can't really break these, and if they do break, it's £15 to replace them. Also, with these lights, they're nice and narrow, so if you're doing some maintenance behind here, you can pull that light out, put it back in, and it's not as fiddly as having the proper sizable headlight unit that's got to go back in that bowl with all the wiring behind it. This is where mine starts to look quite different. You've got bark busters, which are pushing the limits of kind of aesthetics, really. They don't really go with the whole modern retro vibe. They're strong black plastic. Same as my grips. I've got heated grips on there, but they don't quite look as good as the BSA branded grips which come from the factory. Let's move down to the crash protection here, which I fitted. And nobody really seems to like or go for R&G crash protection on the Goldstar, but you could support the bike on an engine crane by those bungs. It's so strong. Whereas over here you've got no crash protection, but you could buy the BSA dresser bar kit and it would bolt onto one of these frame bolts here, and then you'd loop around the exhaust, and then you've got another mounting lug at the bottom of the frame rail there. So you can buy a BSA solution for crash protection. I just happened to have gone for R&G. I just thought it looked really strong and substantial, so I went for that. One of the most obvious things that I've done to my bike is the decat, partly because I wanted to save a little bit of weight. I didn't want the I think the cat's about 7 kilos. Being a 2020s bike, you've got to have all the Euro 5 and emissions and all that taken care of. So you can't run a bike without a catalytic converter. It's just not possible to manufacture one and get it approved. BSA have done a little trick here, which a lot of manufacturers do. You have the downpipe, and then you've got this heat shield which masks the join, goes into a cat which is located down there, just snug under the engine, comes out as well from hidden under this heat shield, and then goes through the P-shaped P-shooter silencer. On my bike, I've got the Hitchcock's decat pipe, and then a little clamp there straight into the original silencer with the original baffle. So I've kept the baffle in. It does provide a little bit of a louder noise, which I'll compare at the end of the video, just to show you the difference. And it also retains the original look, and you only have to pay for this pipe here. The only thing is, when you do a decat, the space where the cat used to live then becomes a little bit of an obvious, something that draws the eye. I was going to say eyesore, but that's probably a bit too strong a term. So I've purchased the Paulson Creative Customs decat blanking plate kit. Bit of a mouthful. Basically, it's a couple of steel plates that fill the gap where the exhaust used to run and make it look like it's kind of factory, really. So you've got to pay quite a lot of money to get that factory look, but I bought mine second hand. I think it was worth it. Right, upgrade to the badges. It is a small thing, but I've got the gel roundels there on that side, one on the other side as well. And BSA just comes with this sort of very basic sticker. It's a minor thing, but it's $15.99 from More Speed Racing. You can get that little upgrade. I think where it syncs to the main badge, I just think it looks kind of purposeful. I think it makes the bike look a little bit nicer. On the back, I've got a rack hidden by all my crap, but I have got the classic bike rack's rear rack. On this one, you run in the sort of streamlined look. Now, some people say that the rear rack spoils the look of the bike, which might be true, but for the usability, I kind of like that back rack. It's chromed, it doesn't really ruin it for me. I've also more recently fitted the BSA official pannier rail system. They do have an advantage that they can be fitted with like a quick lock device, which you can fit to any pannier. So I'll put it in the video, I'll put a little picture of what it is. It's quite hard to explain, but it's like a little plastic clamp system that can mount with any pannier and then quick lock onto the BSA pannier rail, which is quite nice. Now, both bikes here, my bike and the Midwest for sale bike, are both running the stock rear suspension. You can upgrade to Hagon's. I kind of like the softly sprung rear suspension at the back of mine, so I leave that standard. What have I missed? Oh, one thing, and it's quite an important one, and that is the front forks. So on the stock bike, we're running 30 centimeter linear springs and standard fork oil, and it's okay. You can see the suspension compressing there, but I actually increased the suspension travel at the front with progressive springs, changed the fork oil, which you can see in another video, and then look, just a little bit plusher, a little bit softer, and it gives me a little bit more suspension compression when I'm doing the off-road stuff, and even on the road with potholes and things. I think anything that softens the front on these bikes, I think is a good thing. So let me know what you think about the mods to the bike. It is very, very much like my bike now. It's added to the character, it's added to the way I feel about the bike. I kind of, you know, it's more than just a bike now. I've kind of customized it and made it my own. I've been on some travels with her as well. But here's the stock example. If you were to buy this bike, it's probably never going to be cheaper than it is right now. These bikes are going to go back up to normal pricing after the end of 2024 dip. But that's your bike. They're ready for customization. And to be honest, it looks quite good in standard form. But yeah, there we have it. That's a clean example. This is a well-used example. I wouldn't want to compare the value on either, because I think mine would fare a lot worse. But there you go. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to this short video, and let me know if you've got any questions in the comments, and I'll try and reply best I can to all your comments and questions and all that gubbins. And if you want to subscribe and like and everything else, then please do. You know what, I'm so taken by it, I can't even think of anything interesting to say, because she's so beautiful in that that colour combo. Wow. Avon tyres as well, which just sets it off. Road Riders. So yeah, classic 500, which is absolutely stunning.